Bonsai Dream.
I always start my defoliation from the top going down for two reasons. Normally the top is the more stronger part, so I need to start already shutting down the energy. And then also because the leaves will fall in the lower part, so when I will work here I can also take care of cleaning all the leaves from falling from the upper part. So as I said, the top is super strong. I want to take away 100% of the foliage on this part, and then even more I'm gonna take some of this line and prune them. But first of all, to have a better vision of the entire part, I want to defoliate because I need to see exactly the structure, the secondary and tertiary ramification, and then I can make a decision. When I defoliate, I always take off all the leaves and I just keep the first part because this part is going to still protect the new buds, and then it's just going to dry out and fall in a week or a few days. I never defoliate just pulling or breaking the leaves because it's very dangerous. And on Prunus, especially if I start doing that, I risk to lose a lot of the dormant buds that are along the internode of the trees. I can decide to leave some of the little leaves. They are leaves that are not too much active because they are the first leaves that the tree produce when it start growing in spring. The other thing that is interesting to say about Prunus is that since from the second, third year of development, it already start flowering. We can see of this tree in the inner part there are still a lot of the old flower. This tree is from the family of cherry, so obviously it's gonna do a nice white flower. I'm never afraid that this flowering is taking away energy from the tree, so I let the tree flower, and normally the end of flowering will be my starting point for the next operation, that is, as I'm doing now, the defoliation, and the next step about eventually pruning and wiring the vegetation. So I'm finishing with the defoliation of this upper part, and actually also the lower intermediate part is ready. You can already see the difference between the lower branch where I haven't touched any foliage, any leaves, the intermediate one that I left some leaves at the end to keep pushing because I want to still a little bit create thickness, and the upper part I'm just defoliating everything, even if I know already that all these outside parts are gonna be cut away. You can see all these extensions. So now the first operation, as I did the defoliation on my way up to down, now I go in and I prune all these branches to just push the tree in and keep going with the division of the ramification. And now that the tree has no leaves, you can actually see the thickness of the structure in the top, and then the structure go down. This is the pruning of last year. I normally, when I prune long branches, I normally leave a little tip that can dry out, and then I can always remove later on. And then you see all the ear selection. So here is a structural, second, third, and fourth. So we have all the step in this part, and it's very evident how the tree grew a lot and built a lot of structure and ramification here, rather than the lower part that is very, very immature still. But doing this year after year, I can develop the ramification properly and get the tree on a stage where all the branches from the lower part to the upper part have the same strength. This is very, very important. So this part mainly need to be pruned. There will be some wiring that I can do later on. We have branches like this, we can go in and prune back with no problem. We have a big empty space here, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start putting a piece of wire to this branch and start moving that branch in the direction I want. So I don't really need to wire everything, but basically only the few branches that I want to move. Always the wire, especially because I'm using aluminum, the wire goes in the direction that I want to move the branch. Okay, so I want to give some movement. The branch start framing its position. Again, I want to shut down the energy. This can be pruned. We have a big branch here I need to move, so I need to put a little bit big pieces of wire, and then probably I'm going to use a guy wire to move this branch in this section. So again, what I do, I anchor around, anchor the wire in the base of this guy, and then coming from underneath, I wire my branch in the direction I need. The other reason why we use aluminum on deciduous is that the deciduous tree doesn't have such a strong bark as a conifer. So while we wire, we don't want to risk to damage the bark, and then those damage that can be on the tree for many, many years. And as I said, because we are used to show these trees in winter, if we have any damage on the bark, in the ramification, that will be very, very evident when we show the tree. So I let just a little piece of wire there to anchor my guy wire. Not always is important to use a very thick wire to move a branch, but I can just use a smaller piece of wire and then move the branch a little bit down in the position I want. There is another branch here that I want to start moving. So basically I'm just setting roughly branches in position, because on deciduous I always like to work kind of a little bit half and half between clip and grow and wiring. So I can develop branches and I can develop thickness and conicity with clip and grow, but sometimes I need to move branches in the direction I want, setting the position with the wire. Otherwise will be very, very difficult in the future to move thick branches and fill spaces. Again, it's not a refinement, but it's just a way how I like to develop my deciduous tree. I just finished pruning the top part and I'm moving my way down. I still have this section that need to be pruned, and then I will just wire and open the lower branches here to set a little bit more the structure and then get still some thickness. So I can still go in here and short some of these lines because I want to maintain this area more compact. So now let's analyze this section. You can see already the old pruning that I did along the past season actually. So we can see how the tree react to my pruning. So prune, double, prune, double, prune, double. This is the rule of the two that I was talking before. It's an upper branch, so I don't need much extension. So now what I do the same process. I go back to one active bud and I still have dormant bud back. So normally what's happened, if I prune here, the tree is gonna shoot from this bud and normally the next inner one. And there is still a dormant bud more or less close to the base of the branch that eventually, if I need later on, I can also prune it back. So in the same year, I can force the tree to go back almost at the start of the same little branch, if necessary. Or I just keep doubling the foliage to create more and more ramification. So I always start from the top, I cut here, then I go here, I do the same. This is a weak branch, I can leave a little bit more. Then I work my way back, I go here, I prune. This is a branch that clearly was pruned last year. The top bud take off, but the inner one haven't developed. So now what we can do, we can go back here and prune these branches. So this is gonna hopefully develop one more branch here. This is gonna take off again, and probably this is gonna create another branch. If this is still retired, we can go back in here and make the dormant bud to develop, and this, because it's a dormant bud, is gonna go and shoot back energy to the next inner branches. So we always force the tree to go back and shoot with the clip and grow technique. While in other part, we use the wire to set the structure and then we go through the clip and grow again. So now that the intermediate part is pruned, I will concentrate on this section. This section will need wire. So you can see that I need a little bit to push down these branches to fill this negative space. And also, this is something that normally happens on the deciduous tree. If I have an upper branch nice and compact here, the lower one naturally for the weight is going to go down and then relift up the secondary. So I want to move down a little bit this section, and then this branch will create a natural foliage going up. If I rotate the tree, you can see I still have to touch this part. This part is the one that I want to let grow crazy to really build my first branch, and this branch will develop like a nice volume in this position. When we develop the deciduous tree, we have always to consider pads, not like pads, but like clouds. So they want to fill the space. They don't go down and open like they do on conifer, but they go generally up and they fill spaces like little clouds. If we turn the tree again, we have this branch. This is another branch I want to develop to create depth. I moved down this branch and this guy to start filling this intermediate part, and I prune them back because I'm pretty happy about the thickness of the branch. Again, I use clip and grow technique together with a little bit of wire. Again, I don't need to wire everything to set the position. And then we go here. I still have this branch. I need to develop thickness. I let the apical leaves to keep strength, and I need to put also some wire to start moving in this direction. So the next step will be wiring and positioning generally these 3 branches here. Every time I put a piece of wire, technically I like to match a branch that need a clockwise direction with a branch that need a counterclockwise direction. This helps me to have a nice strong anchor, and then the wire running out in the 2 directions in the branches. As you can see, I stay kind of a little bit loose on the branch. I don't need to tighten my wire as I do on conifer, but I just need the wire to really gently push my branch to be able to set that branch in position. The other thing that is important while I wire is I always have to have very clear what of the structure and what other branch I need to wire. So on this particular section I have 1, 2, 3 and 4 branches. So I run my wire, the thick one, out, and then 2 by 2 I can still match the other smaller branches, always using the rule 1 piece of wire, 2 direction. So I run out my smaller wire here. I still need to move a little bit this section, so push down, move, okay, and then this part will grow and create thickness. Obviously, it's important to always keep an eye to the part of a tree that we wired and we let it grow, because if they will start growing a lot, the wire will bite in pretty fast, and again we don't want the wire to create ugly and not nice scars on the branches that was wired before. This is a wire that probably will stay on the tree a couple of months, not more. Is not a tree that is wired to be refined and go on a show. So the wire is just basically a technical tool to set the branch in position, and that's it. Not like something that has also an aesthetical point. So as I said, I can stay a little bit loose, and in the meantime I can go fast and don't care about really be as detailed as I will be for a pine or a juniper. I just wanna open and set branches in position to also take away the competition between the different parts, so the branches will not grow more one against the other, and everyone will have a nice space to develop. For example, this guy, even if I need to let it grow, is already in a position where I don't need to put a piece of wire because it's just shooting, and every one of these branches is using a certain spot, and they can just keep grow. And later on I will cut the wire, and at the end of the season hopefully this will be double the size that is now, and I can start again pruning back and building some maturity as I did for the upper part of the tree. So if now we move our attention on this guy, we take care of the lower branch. As we said, this is the branch that has just to take off to thick it up. Unfortunately, this branch spread the energy along a lot of different little branches. That's the reason why it's so slow also compared to the rest. So one reason is because it's the kind of the lower branch. So as we said, all the energy is normally in the upper part. And the second reason is that if the branch has to spread the energy along 3, 4, 5 shoot, obviously is growing less than a normal shoot. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut away the inner branches that I really don't need, because I want to create one single line as I have here or here or here, and I can just keep probably 2 or 3 runners that goes out and will thick up my branch. Probably this branch was like pruned by a mistake in the future, and you can see how you kind of slow down the process even more. So what I want to do is cutting away the inner branches. So this guy, and this guy. So the tree will have only to put energy in the outside line. If I see 2 of them taking off, I'm also going in and prune the third one.
Bonsai Dream.